much for having me, and I'm happy to share my career journey, also because it's not totally linear, which makes it interesting, I think. So I started studying international business administration in Germany and worked then for many years for Pirelli tires in different marketing and management positions, both in Germany and in Italy. After that, I joined first as marketing director and then as managing director of Ferrari Credit Card, which was a licensing business, and I was working with banks from all over the world. So I really enjoyed those jobs because they were quite exciting. I traveled the world and met a lot of interesting people. But I think after many years then came this famous aha moment when I was sitting on a beach in Phuket, very classically, and my younger daughter was just 1 year old and playing with the plastic trash, and I couldn't enjoy that vacation anymore. And I really asked myself if that world needs more tires or if this world needs more credit cards, and the simple answer was no. And I decided to really change my career completely. So I started doing some courses for sustainability, and I went to some lectures and to some events, and I applied for roles that I didn't have much expertise for. So I felt stupid sometimes along the way, but I met people that trusted in my dedication and my skills. And I started working in Eco Business, which is a media publication based here in Singapore for sustainable development and responsible business. And I was director of partnership. And I really worked there, so I could use my corporate background, obviously, and could match it with sustainability. And I learned so much in that journey. And since 1 year now, I'm joining WWF. I'm head of market transformation. I'm leading a team of very dedicated and professional individuals, and we are working closely with the corporate sector on different sustainability issues, such as deforestation and palm oil. Plastic is one of our big areas we are working on, but also climate and sustainable seafood. And the idea is really to engage the corporate sector and to see what are some of the challenges that all of them have in common, and how can we help them address those challenges. And always science-based, we build up some solution or tools and resources to ideally help an entire sector to become more sustainable. So the goal is really to lower the pressure on our natural resources and to lower the impact of climate change. So I think, as you say, sustainability and climate change are already really big buzzwords. I think the topic of biodiversity loss and really the collapse of entire ecosystem is still underestimated and also underreported. So I think the awareness is just growing now. But on the other side, I also think that the current COVID situation, with all its negative impacts, of course, but it also showed that governments and businesses can take very bold and very uncomfortable decisions in very short time if they recognize a crisis. So, I mean, who would have thought a year ago that global air travel will totally collapse, that borders will close, that we all work from home, that schools, restaurants, shops, everything is closed. So I think that just leads me to the conclusion that on the climate crisis and on biodiversity loss, businesses and governments have not yet recognized the urgency and the magnitude of the problem. And I think there are some positive indicators, and a lot of things are moving, and obviously there are very big commitments in this moment. So I think it's maybe less about skills, but really about follow your passion and make some decisions that maybe your family and friends don't necessarily understand in that point in time, because it's your career and you can try out different things, you can find your way. And I think it's also totally okay not to know exactly what I want to do in 15 or 20 years, but to be patient with yourself, to embrace the learning along the way, but then also maybe to take a route that is not totally obvious. And I think it also very much depends how you define success in the first place. So what is your ultimate career goal? And also just to recognize that your priorities can change over time. And I think that makes it actually very exciting. So I had those priority shifts, and I think they were always okay in that moment in time. It was just the right thing to do. I think, like, first of all, that spending time with your family in some time in your career is the best thing that you can do, because I worked so long, so much, but then I also took time for my kids when they were young. And I mean, for my journey, it wasn't any barrier to my career. When I just got back from maternity leave, I was offered managing director. I was lucky, and that might not always be the case. But whatever it would have been the journey, it was worth it. And I think along the years, I met many top managers that told me that they regretted to not have spent more time with their kids, whether they were male or female. So I think that counts for fathers and mothers. And to really not lose this moment in time. And you can work all the rest of your life. There is enough time to work. So I think this time is precious, and everybody should enjoy that and not to worry about. And I hope we can have an enabling environment that people don't need to worry about that anymore. So that is the first learning, I think. The second is that we must accept change. Because our world is changing so quickly, and I think that's why business models and governments and businesses and leadership change constantly and change very quickly. And so for the working environment, it's sometimes tiring, but I think we just have to live with it and adapt to it and be agile on the way we work and on the projects we work. And I think lastly, it's really about the personal connection, and that business is made between people. So whether it's your colleagues, your partners, your clients, your stakeholders, we can all learn from each other. And actually the personal connection is the part that makes work really fun and valuable. So I think, like, also maybe in my early career, I sometimes was too focused on the results and too focused on work itself. But I think the relationship is that what really matters in the end. And I think also now under COVID, that personal interaction, to be together with a person in the room, is really missing. So I hope we can get back to that very quickly.